Hey guys, Carrie here. I know I haven't done a video in a while, so I just kind of wanted to give another update on where I am in my life and things. So, yeah, the other night, I was having a few beers and I decided to watch one of my old videos that I did like almost a year ago at this point, and I watched the one called The Reality of Psychosis, and I was like, at the time I was wanting to watch it, I was like, oh, it was such a good video, I'm so proud of it. And you know, I am, it's just, you know, while I was watching it, it's like it was a little like I was embarrassed for myself because I could tell how nervous I was. The setup that I had, which this isn't much better. I'm balancing my this laptop on some pillows in my lap, but when I first started, I was downstairs and using my mom's computer, and the lighting situation was bad. You could tell, the nerves just bled through, and it took forever to really get to the point. I know that I'm going to eventually redo a lot of those videos. And I'm not saying that the information wasn't valuable, but when it takes like 10 minutes to get to that, certain point, and I don't really have the means to, the only way I can do the videos that I want to do in the way that I want to do it with, where I can go be talking to the camera and then switch to a million tabs, it doesn't matter what's on them, play a video for a clip from YouTube, go to a different website, play a clip from somewhere else, scroll through different tabs, go back to me and then back to that. The only way I can figure to really accomplish that is with QuickTime, and I'm gonna need a MacBook for that. I know I can get QuickTime for Windows, but it doesn't have the capability of doing what I want to do. So I'm just, my first instinct when I saw that old video is like, man, I want to delete that because it is a little embarrassing. But the point of this whole channel and what I'm doing is I want to take everybody along this journey with me, and that's part of this journey. As bad as it may be, just the progression that I saw in myself, and that was really before I'd started doing the emotional clearing like I've been doing. I could tell, I've gotten so much more confident since then. Of course, I still, have I think this is another 1 megapixel camera, but that's really beside the point of what I'm really doing here, I was just like, oh God, like, watching the screen, like, oh God. That video in particular, I know I'm going to redo because, but I want to be able to show y'all the definitions, so you can see them yourselves and not be like, okay, what is she talking about? Come on. Because it just really looked like I was just this crazy girl, and I know a lot of people probably might think that about me, and that's fine. Everybody's entitled to think what they want, but I think at one point I was even like, oh, I just am, maybe coming across like, oh, who's this crazy chick? And I was just like, yeah, kinda. I thought that about myself, and then I had to like look at the screen, and I was like giving myself a mental hug. Like, I love you, Carrie, I love you. Um, I guess on the subject of emotional clearing, it's so important for people to be doing that right now. It raises the frequency of you, and it helps raise the frequency of the whole planet. And it comes off in layers, man. I mean, I've noticed, like, I've done probably, at this point, I know I've said this before, but I think I'm halfway done. Yesterday, I made a list of the situations that caused me pain that I still have to use the formula with. And I think it's like up to 16 more issues. And that's how, about what I've already done, and it's just more and more. But I'm getting down to 2 root issues right now. One is a lack of self-love and self-confidence, which really showed through in my earlier videos, and I'm still working on it. I'm not saying that I'm all perfect, and I've found self-love. I mean, it doesn't just happen overnight. So I'm trying to see what's the best angle here. Oh, here's my purse. Anyway, so the 2 issues are the self-love, and I guess that's part, believing in myself, because it's hard to believe that I'm not just this human body, that I'm more than that. And I'm finding out who I am more and more. The other part of it is guilt and remorse that I feel with issues dealing with motherhood. I keep dreaming about things, like feeling guilty about certain things. Like when I was younger, I had just had my daughter, and I got pregnant, and I was only 20, and I was freaking out, and the guy that I was with had 2 kids already, and another woman saying she was pregnant, and I didn't feel like I could handle it, so I aborted that pregnancy. And that's the issue I'm going to do today. And I heard an interesting theory, once again, from the teachings of Jelaila. I read an article on her website. It's called, God, what was it called? Something about the, I'll post a link down below, but it was the guilt, dealing with the guilt of motherhood. As soon as I stop trying to think of it, it'll come to me. But she, she's also had experience with what I'm dealing with now, with cysts, ovarian cysts, and uterine fibroids. And it's interesting because the other day I said, I don't think I'm going to go to the doctor again for that, because what are they really going to do for me? And then later on that day, I was reading Mission Remembered, and that issue came up, and she mentioned the article. And so I went and I read the article, and supposedly it's the guilt that we experience from the views, the archaic views that society holds on how a mother should give up her sense of self for children, and completely forget about her needs in lieu of the child. And that's the way that most of society believes, and they will not take care of themselves in order to take care of their children. And the mothers that don't, are shunned and told that they are bad people, because their children should come first always. So anyway, so that's what I'm working on now. I do have the cysts right now, and I have some uterine fibroids. So I'm gonna put this to the test and see. I have 4 or 5 issues dealing directly with that. There may be more layers of that guilt that comes out, but from what I'm understanding, that's the way that you heal the uterine fibroids and the cysts. So I suggest that you go and read that article, especially if you're a mother and you've experienced what I'm talking about. It's a completely higher dimensional way of looking at it. I mean, if you take these things that these doctors can't figure out what exactly is causing it, what is causing this breast cancer, what's causing these womanly issues that they can't find the root, well, maybe it's time to start broadening our perspectives with this stuff. So I have a dog moving around over here. Yeah, so my two root issues I'm dealing with are motherhood, guilt, and self-love. So if you are a subscriber and you're watching this, thank you so much for subscribing. I know that in my earlier videos I was very rambly and it was just kind of all over the place, and I didn't have self-love. I didn't love myself. Like, how the hell does somebody love themselves when the whole world is telling them they're not worthy of love? You know, and that creates a darkness in yourself, and then you become afraid of that darkness and you run from it and try and mask it, and you know, it's like a vicious fucking cycle, man. But anyway, y'all see my stuff over there. Eventually I'm going to have a better setup. I'm actually, that's another thing, is the plan was to be moved out of here by like the end of this month. That's what I'm still hoping for, but I don't really know. I can't figure out. I'm being kind of OCD about this. If my boyfriend could see this right now, he'd be like, God, Carrie, you really need to edit your videos. Well, that's probably what he's going to end up doing for me, and I'll just do the videos, and he actually is going to show me how to add like a beginning intro to it and everything. I don't know how to do that shit. He's like the techie kind of brain and logic thinking, scientific brain, and I'm more like the mammalian, feline, emotion brain kind of, and it's just like a balance between that. But yeah, I'm supposed to be moving the hell out of here very soon. That is in the works now. The RV, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get it, so, but if I don't, I'm getting an apartment and I'm getting the F out of here, because self-love, this is teaching me that my needs come first. I can't caretake my mom anymore. I've done my part. There's obviously a contract somewhere that she wrote, and I can't clear it. So just, you know, like Jelaila says, love her from afar. And that's really all I can do. You know, I did clear an issue yesterday, the day before, dealing with my cousin Jessica, and I saw her in a new light. You know, I was able to see things from her perspective and see her pain and really feel it as part of her, you know, step 5, which is the gift to me. And it was really powerful, you know, but I ended up sending her a message, and I haven't spoken to her in like 7 years. And because she called CPS on me, and she got mad at me, and, you know, because I was still friends with her ex-boyfriend after she basically tried to ruin his life, and then made fun of his autistic son, and he don't want nothing to do with her. And he would still come around and be like, hey, can I get a ride right now? I'm freezing. He only worked right down the street from where I lived. So I was like, okay. And she found out and called CPS on me and tried to ruin my life. So I cut her out of my life. And then she cut me out of her life. And it's just been like that for 7 years. But anyway, I reached out to her for the last time with a really heartfelt thank you for playing her role, and, you know, I feel your pain, and I'm sorry for what the pain I caused. She wouldn't even read it. And, you know, then she went and she started messaging my daughter right after that, you know, and then my daughter's like, just read the message, Jessica. And then, you know, after trying to get her to read the message and kind of defending me, she blocked my daughter. So I'm just like, wow, holy crap. She's in a lot of pain, and it's just the way it is, you know. So I might follow that up with a letter directly to her soul, and try and just clear the contract that way. If it still bothers me in a couple of days, I'll do that. But okay, so yeah, 1506. That's really all I had to say for now. I know this is shaky and crappy, but hey, you know what? Whatever. I have a couple of things I got to do right now. I'm gonna immediately, after I post this, I'm gonna work on my issue with the abortion. So I'll let y'all know how it goes. I'll talk to you later. Okay.